Hello, music fans. This is the moment. This is the moment here that you guys have been waiting for a long time. I'm going to finish my top 100 albums series today by going over my top 10 favorite albums of all time. I'm super excited to get to talk about these because these are the albums I feel are just amazing. Just like the best. Like all of these 10 albums here are just, whenever I heard them, are just like, this is one of the best things I've ever heard. Albums that stuck with me. And honestly, these 10 albums kind of really make up my taste in music. Although a lot of them in the top 10 here are made up by the same artist, but that shouldn't be a big surprise, especially since I got a poster over there for one of them. Um, but yeah, these are the albums that really define my taste in music, that I consider to be the best of the best. These are the ones that I listen to over and over again. These are the albums that I've hung up on my wall, albums that I've recommended to other people, albums that I've talked about over and over again. My microphone, sorry, went out. These are the albums I've talked about over and over again on my channel. Like just the albums that really just helped form my taste in music, really. I know I've said that a lot, but I'm excited to get to talk about these ones. These are all really personal albums for me. Each of them for a different reason. So, real quick before we start, just got to show. Click right there. It'll take you to my homepage so you can subscribe. There we go. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, we got a lot of fun videos coming up next year. I'm going to make a little teaser trailer for my Billy Joel series later after this video. But let's go ahead and get into it. Number 10, my 10th favorite album of all time. And I'm going to have to kind of censor this one because apparently YouTube doesn't like it. It's Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin. Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin. The inner gatefold is kind of odd. It's like, what's going on up there? This is my favorite Led Zeppelin album, my 10th favorite album of all time, which is kind of an odd choice. Most people would put their 4th album or their 2nd album or even Physical Graffiti as their favorite of Led Zeppelin's albums. But I've got this one because each of these 8 songs on this album really makes up a different genre and really just shows the diversity of the band. The band is on the top of their game. Robert Plant is at the top of his game vocally. And just all the songs are just fantastic. You start out with the song Remains the Same, which has some really cool 12-string guitar playing. Robert Plant's voice is pitched up so that what I like about this album is they're really starting to experiment in the studio. Their earlier albums are just kind of live in the studio, bluesy stuff. This is when they're starting to really experiment with using the studio. The second song is the Rain song. If you guys have watched my review on this album, you guys know that I love the Rain song. Great alternate tuning guitars. John Paul Jones's Mellotron is just absolutely beautiful. He also plays an acoustic bass, upright bass on this track. John Bonham's drumming when it comes in at the end is just fantastic. This is my second favorite Led Zeppelin song after Stairway to Heaven. It's just a masterpiece. And then you got Over the Hills and Far Away, which is amazing as well. I love the acoustic guitar at the beginning. It sounds like a folk song. And then it goes electric halfway through. Bow, bow, and the drums come in. Many times I love, many times I listen. Bow, bow, many times I lays out I gazed, or whatever it is. I'm on the open road. Down, 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 down. There's a really cool guitar solo in the middle as well. And then you got the Crunge, which is a James Brown tribute and an odd time signature. A lot of people seem to hate that song, but honestly, I love it. It's so funky and funny, especially the end where he's like, "Have you seen the bridge?" "Excuse me, I'm trying to find the bridge." "Where's that confounded bridge?" And then the song just cuts out. I love that. The second side starts with Dancing Days, which kind of has an Eastern feel to it. I love the guitar riff. Super catchy. Jamaica, that's how you pronounce it, I think. It's supposed to sound like Jamaica. It's a reggae song. Some of John Bonham's best drumming there, too. I love it. And then No Quarter is absolutely epic. I love John Paul Jones's keyboard playing on No Quarter. I love the guitar. I love Robert Plant when he sings. He's just like, close the door, turn out the light. No, they won't be home tonight. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do, bow, and that chord comes in. Super cool. And then it ends with the ocean. Bow, 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 now. Just an amazing rock album. Number 10, Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin. Jason has some comments here. Let me go ahead and show those. He's been waiting for this one to show up. Yep, you know I like this one. It's his third favorite Led Zeppelin album. He likes Over the Hills and Far Away, Jamaica, and the Ocean the best. Yeah, those are great songs. All right, now we're going to get to number 9. Number 9. And number 9 for me is this one right here. Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. This is an original copy. I'm so happy I found it. Let me show the label. There it is. That capital rainbow label. Man, this album is so good. I remember the first time I listened to it, I hated this album. But repeated listens and watching the Love and Mercy movie really made me love this album. The production is basically Brian Wilson trying to do a Phil Spector thing, and it's amazing. They get a lot of session musicians, so the Beach Boys are mainly just doing the harmonies. But, man, is this a great album. It starts out with Wouldn't It Be Nice? What a classic song. I love the guitar thing at the beginning. It's a really interesting guitar sound, and then the drums. And then it kicks in. Wouldn't it be nice if we were older? It kind of changes keys really fast, too. Then I wouldn't have to wait so long. Lovely lyrics. Kind of expressing a want to be older so that you can be together. You know, that's really nice. I love Mike Love's bridge that he does. Maybe if we think and wish and hope and pray it might come true. And the harmonies are great. Great lead vocals from Brian Wilson on this one as well. And then you get You Still Believe in Me. I love that song. I love the intro. Brian Wilson is playing the inside strings of a piano with a bobby pin. And it makes a really interesting sound. It's like a dum 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 dum. I love that. That's Not Me. That's the only song that the Beach Boys play the instruments on, but it's really cool. Dennis Wilson has some good drumming on that one. It's a Mike Love led vocal. Mike Love does a good vocal on that one. I love Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder. That song is so beautiful. I love the orchestra in there. Great melody, great lyrics. The lyrics are done by a guy named Tony Asher. Fantastic. I'm Waiting for the Day. But the way that the drums and the kettle drums, the timpani, kind of interact on this song is so good. It's just like a timpani riff. I'm waiting for the day when you can love again. You didn't think that I'd sit there and watch you go. Yeah, great song. I love it so much. Let's Go Away for a While is a brilliant instrumental. It's a Beach Boys song, but none of the Beach Boys play on it. It's just a song that was written by Brian Wilson for the orchestra to play. And then you get Sloop John B. Such a fun song. It's like a folk song that Al Jardine suggested they do an arrangement of. The harmonies are so good. And I love the music video. I know we're talking about the album, but I love the music video where they're like going into a pool with a raft. Side 2, God Only Knows. One of the best songs of all time. Brilliant harmonies on this song, especially in that little bridge section where they go like... Clever key changes, great chord progression. I love the outro whenever they're just kind of like, God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows. Kind of switching off. And then like Carl Wilson goes like, God only knows what I'd be without you. I love that. So good. I Know There's an Answer. That's another great song. Here Today Here Today is a fantastic song. I like the bass on that, like the dum 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 dum. Keep in mind, love is here. Okay, great harmonies there, and then in the middle, like you can like just hear them talking. There's like some studio chatter, which I think is interesting. They left that in there. I just wasn't made for these times. That's probably my third favorite song on this album. I love it. I love the theremin in the middle. And they like do the thing with their hand to make it go. Very introspective lyrics there that Tony Asher wrote, but I know Brian commissioned him to write them. Kind of about feeling like you don't fit in and like none of your friends are really your friends. They're just there in fair weather. Man, it's so hard. Pet Sounds, the song, is an instrumental. It was originally written as a James Bond theme, oddly enough. It's probably my least favorite song on the album. It's all right. It's kind of just there. But the closer, Caroline, no, that's a great song. Great instrumentation on there, and I love at the end how the last thing you hear is like a train passing by and dogs barking. I think that's super cool. Great album. Lots of experimentation on here, and it would go on to inspire another one of my top 10 albums on this list. Pet Sounds is very high on Jason's list as well. God Only Knows is one of the greatest songs of all time. Yes, I agree with that. Okay, Nick, you're gonna like this next one. Who's next? This album rocks. This album rocks. That's all I have to say. It's some of the best guitar playing, some of the best bass playing, and some of the best drumming and the best singing you're going to hear. If you want to know what a good rock album is, listen to this one. This is fantastic. The back cover is cool, too. Like at the dining table or some kind of desk. But this album is fantastic. I love it so much. You start out with Baba O'Reilly, which that little synthesizer thing at the beginning, it just hooks you right at the beginning, and then you get boom, 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 and the drumming, boom, boom, boom. Oh, so catchy, and then the vocals come in super strong. I love the guitar solo. Teenage Wasteland, oh yeah. Bargain, man, that song rocks too. I love Bargain. I love the kind of like reverse sounding guitar at the beginning, and the drumming. I'm glad that you lose me to find you. I gotta give up all I got. It's so good, such a rocking song. Great vocals on that one. Love Ain't for Keeping, that's another really great song, kind of more acoustic based. My Wife is written by the bass player John Entwistle. Hilarious song about a guy who got drunk, had to spend the night in the police station, and his wife thought that she was cheating on her. So he cheated him with like a tank and an airplane or something like that, and so he's got to run away and defend himself with like a judo expert and a machine gun or something. I don't know. The lyrics are really funny. The Song Is Over. That's the most underrated song on this album. The Song Is Over. Man, I love that song so much. Great piano playing, too, from Nicky Hopkins. Beautiful melody. The guitar player, Pete Townsend, he does the verse sections, and then Roger Daltrey, who's the main singer, will do the chorus. I sing my song to the wide open spaces. I sing my heart out to the infinite sea. I sing my visions to the sky mountains. I sing my song to the free. And then the drumming. Oh my goodness, the drumming on this track. This might be Keith Moon's best drumming performance on this. And then the bridge. When I walked in through the door, saw it was me I was looking for. She was the first song I ever sang, but it stopped as soon as it began. Bum, bum. The drums are so good on this song. And then the B-side, Getting in Tune. Oh boy, Getting in Tune. Getting in Tune is so good. It starts with just like the piano, boom, 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 boom. I'm singing this note because it fits in well with the chords I'm playing. And then the piano. I can't pretend there's any meaning here in the words I'm saying, but I'm in tune, right in tune. I'm pretty much just saying these songs, but they're so catchy they get stuck with you. I'm going to ride it on you, and then the vocals get really good. It picks up. I got it all here in my head. Nothing more needs to be said. Hey, okay, I need to just stop singing and just describe the song. Go listen to this album if you haven't heard it. All these songs are perfect. Going Mobile. That's another great song. Cool synthesizer on there. Great guitar at the beginning. Kind of about getting a mobile home and trying to evade the tax man because you live in a mobile home. That's funny. The last two songs on this album, though, oh my gosh. Oh, so good. Behind Blue Eyes. Behind Blue Eyes. What a fantastic ballad. Great guitar at the beginning. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man. This album was supposed to be a rock opera about something about the future, and it kind of like a 1984 kind of a thing. But this was going to be the bad guy's song. So he says, no one knows what it's like to be the bad man. The song is kind of about being misunderstood because everyone thinks he's the bad guy, but he feels like he says like there's more to me. And I love the end with the where it switches to the rock part where like my fist clenches, crack it open, for I use it and lose my cool. When I smile, please bring me some good news before I laugh and act like a fool. Whenever it gets in the drumming, and then it goes back to the ballad part at the end. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man. So good. And then the end of this album is Won't Get Fooled Again. That is one of the coolest songs ever. Starts with that synthesizer, like the and then the guitar comes in, bow down, and the bass, bow down, bow down. We'll be fighting in the street. Oh, so good. So good. There's so much jamming on this song. I just love the jamming on this one. This song is like 8.5 minutes. And it all leads up to all the instruments cut out again because you've just been through like 4 or 5, almost 6 minutes of jamming. And all the instruments come out and the synthesizer comes back in. And it's just the synthesizer for a bit. And then it just goes. And then the drums go. And then that goes into the greatest rock scream of all time. So good. So good. And then it ends with meet the new boss, same as the old boss. And then a little bit more jamming and then just like bow, 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 bow. Yeah. Bow. Man, this album is good. Let me show the record. There's the record. Who's next? Number 8. Jason's favorite Who album as well, Won't Get Fooled Again, is one of the greatest rock songs of all time. Not a bad song on here. I agree with all that. All right. Now we have one of the greatest rock albums of all time. Now we got rock mixed with orchestra. Out of the Blue by the Electric Light Orchestra. Man. Jeff Lynne is a musical genius. That's all I'm going to say. Well, that's not all I'm going to say, but that's what I'm going to lead off with. Jeff Lynne is a musical genius. This album is brilliant. I'm going to show the full gatefold picture because it's cool. Yeah, it's like a jukebox spaceship. And there's the inside. You can see the control room. What a brilliant idea, blending Beatlesque pop with orchestra music. I love that. Some of the best songs I've ever heard are on this thing. Starts out with Turn to Stone, which it's got a fade in. Not a lot of songs have a fade in. A lot of them have a fade out, but there's a fade in where it gets quiet and fades in. And it's just like this. It sounds like a spaceship is like taking off. The city streets are empty now. And then there's some harmonies. The lights don't shine no more. Of everything that is alive. Turning. Yeah. Great. I love the chorus. I turned to stone, and then there's the strings. When you were gone, I turned to stone. And my favorite part is whenever all the instruments cut out and they just go through this really fast pace, like, I'm turning to stone as you ain't coming home. I'm turning to stone. And then at the end, it sounds like the spaceship is landing, like, there's like swirling sounds. It sounds like a spaceship is landing in your house. Especially, it sounds amazing whenever I listen to it on my sound system. So good. Number 2, second song on this album, It's Over. Oh, another fantastic song. The beginning orchestra kind of sounds like a theme that comes back later, but then it goes, it's over, it's over, it's over. Jet Flynn just has such a great ear for what a good melody should sound like, and the way he produces the songs with the orchestra just makes them even better. There's nothing that you should speak of. It's over. Oh, I love it. Sweet Talking Woman. That sounds like a Beethoven or a Bach thing at the beginning. I've been searching on a one-way street, just hoping for somebody to meet. I was waiting for the operator along the line. She's been so long. What can I do? It's just like, what? Who came up with it? Well, I know who came up with it, but it's like, how did you come up with that? Across the Border, that's another fun song. Night in the City, the beginning is so chaotic, but it's like the sounds of Night in the City. It's like, Starlight, man, that's an amazing song as well. There's like synthesizer at the beginning. Jungle is a fun song. It starts with these jungle sounds. And then there's like, supposedly like the chorus is like the sounds that the animals in the jungle sing, like Luka Chaka Luawe. It's a stupid song, but it's fun. Believe Me Now and Steppin' Out, man, those are fantastic. They're back to back. Believe Me Now is an instrumental, and then Steppin' Out is the song. That Believe Me Now is like the intro to Steppin' Out. But Steppin' Out, oh man, great orchestra. I love the chords. I love the when it goes to that chord. It's like, I'm stepping out, I'm moving on. I'm gonna see the world like a rolling stone. I'm stepping out. Perfect end to the first half of the album. It's a double album. That's only the first half of the album. This would still be really hype if it was just the first half of the album, but the second half of the album. Oh, the third side is where the best stuff is. It's called, the whole third side is called The Concerto for a Rainy Day. It's like a little mini work in and of itself, and man, that's some of the best music I ever heard. You start out with Standing in the Rain. It's like the sound of rain, and then like this little keyboard goes boom, 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 and then you get dun 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 dun, and then the lightning strike. And the lightning sounds like Concerto for a Rainy Day. And it's super cool. And then they start playing, which apparently is ELO and Morse code. I found out that's super cool. And it's really frantic. It's like I'm standing in the rain. And then you get go from that into Big Wheels, which Big Wheels has this theme that's kind of used throughout this concerto that goes like, big wheels keep turning, they turn forever. That's, you hear that again at the end of Mr. Blue Sky. That was the first time you heard that was at the beginning of It's Over, and the second time you hear it is here. Big Wheels is such a beautiful song. I love the strings. I love the melody. Big wheels turning, turning, I know, turning, turning. I remember the dead of night, a lonely light that shines upon the window. I see the big wheels turning, on and on they go. Or something like that. It's amazing. And then Summer and Lightning. That's more of an acoustic song. Man, that's amazing as well. The big centerpiece, though, is Mr. Blue Sky. Everybody knows Mr. Blue Sky, but not a lot of people know that it's part of this Concerto for a Rainy Day that's on the third side. That's the whole work. So it's like the whole end of the Concerto for a Rainy Day. The whole time we've been talking about rain and how you're sad in the rain, but now the sun is up, the blue sky is out, and bum 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 bum, sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud in sight. Man, I love this song. I have always loved this song. The song's so happy. I love the guitar solo. And then the big epic orchestra end. Masterpiece of a song, Mr. Blue Sky. Sweet as the Night. That's a really underrated song. Sweet, sweet is the night. Do, 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 do. And there's the bass player actually sings a few verses of this song, so I think that's cool. The Whale, that's a cool instrumental. Using a synthesizer to make whale noises. Birmingham Blues, that's another good song. Wild West Hero closes the album. I wish I was a Wild West hero. And there's some cool honky-tonk piano solos on there. So yeah, man. Great blend of classical music and rock music. It's one of the best things I ever heard. Out of the Blue by the Electric Light Orchestra. Yeah. It's one of my favorite albums. It blew me away the first time I heard it. All right. Briar. Queen. Number 6. A Night at the Opera by Queen. Here's the inside. I'm surprised the album is this in this good a condition. Usually these things have a lot of ring wear on them because it's a white cover. Man, this album's on another level. I mean, everybody knows Queen. Probably the greatest singer of all time, Freddie Mercury. Brian May, the guitar player, John Deacon, the bass player, and Roger Taylor, the drummer, made some of the best music of all time. This is one of those albums. Man, this was the most expensive album ever recorded at the time it was released, and I can see the money went to good use. All of the songs on here are just fantastic. They have a lot of... They all have like a fun feel to them. Some of them even have like an old school vaudeville feel to them. We start out with Death on Two Legs, which is a diss track to their previous manager, which, listening to some of the lyrics, I'm like, what did this guy do? He must have been really bad. But it starts out with this like, these like ominous sounds, and it just goes, doom, 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 boom, boom, death on two legs, you never had a heart. Death on two legs, you're tearing me apart. And then I love the part where it goes, was the fin on your back part of the deal? Shark. I think that's funny. And then you'd make a complete 180 and go to Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon, which is a jaunty little piano number. It's like... And there's a really funny vocal effects on here. It's like an old-timey sounding song. It's like, oh, I go off to work on Monday morning. Tuesdays I go painting in the Louvre. I love it. It's a funny song. I'm lazing on a Sunday afternoon. It's so good. And then you get Roger Taylor's I'm in Love with My Car. Man, that's a weird song. But it rocks. Great drumming. And really good rock vocals from Roger Taylor there. You're My Best Friend. Now we got the first song by the bass player John Deacon on here. Love this song. I love the pulsing keyboard bass. Good harmonies too. Ooh, you're making me live. Whatever this world is cruel to me, I got you to help me forget. Ooh, you're making me live now, honey. Oh, you're making me live. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, you're my best friend. Oh, so good, and I love the guitar here from Brian May. 39. Now we got a song by Brian May. 39. Man, this is another fantastic song. Kind of more acoustic driven. Roger Taylor hits some inhumanly high notes on this song. Brian May does a very good lead vocal on here as well. In the year of 39, do. And then John Deacon, I think, plays an acoustic bass on here. That's really nice. Sweet Lady. I don't know why this song is so hated. It's the song Sweet Lady. I always thought it was a good rocking number. I love the guitar riff. And I love the line where they go, "You say I'm sweet like I'm some kind of cheese." I don't know why that's so funny, but I love that part. Seaside Rendezvous is another one of those like vaudeville kind of sounding songs. I love it. There's like a little fake tap dancing routine in there. And there's like a whole section with like a big band that's just done with Freddie Mercury and Brian May making sound. It's like kind of like that. Seaside Rendezvous. Seaside Rendezvous. Second side, Prophet Song. Oh man, that song is epic. Dum, 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 boom. Oh, people of the earth, listen to the seer, the warning he gave. And then it starts out kind of slow, but then it builds up and gets like all these guitars. And now I know. Yeah, the middle section is Freddie Mercury harmonizing with himself from a tape echo machine. And man, that's so cool when he does that. It almost sounds like there's a bunch of harmonies there. Later on, there actually is a bunch of harmonies, but there's a section where Freddie Mercury is like harmonizing with himself via a tape echo machine, which is really cool. And then there's some great jamming on here as well. Great guitar solo from Brian May. And then it kind of gets quiet at the end, and you start getting the acoustic guitar, which transitions into Love of My Life. Oh, that's another fantastic song. I love the piano playing. There's like some harp in there too. I love the melody. Love of my life, you leave me. You broke in my heart, now you leave. Love of my life, can't you see? And then great harmonies as well. Great guitar from Brian May. It makes this guitar sound like a cello almost. Good Company. That's kind of a goofy song, but I like it. It's mainly Brian May and a ukulele. And then he does this thing in the middle that sounds like a big band, but it's all just his guitar. And there's a song on here that you might have heard of called Bohemian Rhapsody. That's a good song. And then I have to talk more about that song. Bohemian Rhapsody, man. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it because we're going to do a Queen series on Briar's Music Showcase, and I want to save a lot of my thoughts for there, but man. Bohemian Rhapsody is one of the most mind-blowing songs that I've ever heard. I've heard it when I was like 14 in the car on the radio, I think was the first time I heard it, and it was like, you can do something completely different with music. I had no idea you could do this with music. Like, Bohemian Rhapsody is on another level of amazingness. Just the fact that there's all the different sections and all the different layered vocals that make up that operatic part. Brian May's guitar, Freddie Mercury's piano playing, the harmonies. It's just a master. I don't want to overuse the word masterpiece, but if any song should have the word masterpiece used to describe it, it's Bohemian Rhapsody. And then it ends with an instrumental version of God Save the Queen, played by Queen. Yeah. This is an amazing album. Love it to death. Number 6, Night at the Opera. Jason was hoping that this would show up on my list. Oh, so you're only a third favorite Queen album. Wow. Oh, well, I know what your favorite is. I'm guessing your second favorite might be News of the World, but I'll find out. Okay. Now, we are getting into my top 5 albums of all time. My top 5 albums of all time. Oh, did I? I think I put them in the wrong order. Let me just double check real quick. Yep, I put them in the wrong order. Let me just change something real fast. That's number 4. And that's number 5. Okay. My top 5 albums of all time. These are the top-notch ones. All right. Number 5. And this is an album that a lot of people were guessing was going to be number 1, but no, it's just number 5. Number 5 is A Trick of the Tail by Genesis. A Trick of the Tail by Genesis. This is an album that I didn't really listen to a whole lot until just this year. But I remember I picked this album up at a record store for I think like $10. listened to it and was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how amazing this album is. I mean, Phil Collins is like one of the best drummers ever. The musicianship is top notch. I love Tony Banks. Tony Banks is probably my favorite keyboard player. Mike Rutherford, great bass player. And then Steve Hackett is still on guitar on this album. This is just, man, great progressive rock. You start out with the song Dance on a Volcano. That is such a weird song, but it's so cool. I love the guitar at the beginning, like, and it's like, no, that's not the right key. And it's in a weird time signature for a lot of it. Really cool keyboard playing too, and I love the end where it's like, I think that's really cool. Entangled is a beautiful ballad. I love the guitar playing from Steve Hackett on there. It's kind of about like psychiatrists and how he feels like they're a ripoff. Squonk. Man, the drumming on Squonk is fantastic. Cool keyboard on there as well. Kind of a Led Zeppelin sounding song. Madman Moon. That song is beautiful. Love the keyboards on there. Da-na-na-na-no. Da-no-no. Da-na-na-na-no. Da-no-no. Da-na-na-na-no. And then it kind of switches up in the middle with the part that goes like, hey man, I'm the Sandman, boy, have I news for you. They're gonna throw you in jail and you know you can't fail. Cause sand is thicker than blood. It's like a cool little switch up there. And then it goes back to the ballad later on. The piano playing and the keyboard playing are just amazing. There's all these cool piano and keyboard solos throughout this song. The second side, man, the first two songs on the second side are my favorite. Robbery, Assault, and Battery. It's a stupid song. It really is. Phil Collins is pretending to be a robber, and he's talking about breaking into the vault and stealing stuff. I don't know why. It's goofy lyrics, but I love it so much. It starts out with like a and then he starts singing about like the what is it? The streets are deserted, the police are alerted. They can say that the phone call a hoax. And he's like singing in this really heavy Cockney accent. I'm like, this is hilarious, but the musicianship is top notch on here. And there's like a keyboard solo in the middle that's like, he's like playing all these crazy stuff on the keyboard. A lot of change-ups, a lot of really great drumming from Phil Collins too. Like this song, while it's goofy, like the musicianship is just top notch. And I love the end where he's like, up and away, but I'll be back someday. Just the combinations would have changed. Great song, Robbery, Assault, and Battery. Ripples. Oh my gosh. That's one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. Like, I'm not going to go into complete details, but whenever I listened to this song when I bought this record, I was in a bad emotional state, and it kind of pulled me out of it. Beautiful song. The musicianship in the middle section. The middle section with the guitar and the piano is one of the most incredible things that I've ever heard. The way that the piano and the guitar kind of work in and out of each other in that middle section. The great drumming from Phil Collins. The melody is beautiful. I love the chorus. Sail away, away, ripples never come back. Gone to the other side, ripples never come back. Dive to the bottom and go to the top to see where they have gone. Oh, they're gone to the other side. And I like the lyrics. The lyrics are about somebody who's old looking back at their life and kind of seeing their life as ripples in the past. Like they can't come back. So it's kind of like saying for people who are older, cherish their memories because they're very fond. But Genesis was very young when they wrote this, so I kind of also see it as them saying, if you're young, don't waste your time. Like you're gonna make a lot of memories out there. This song it's very personal. Trick of the Tail, the title song. That song is great. Kind of a Beatles sounding thing. I love the piano. Boom, 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 ba-dum, dum. It's about this beast that lives in the city of gold that gets tired of his life, so he goes to the human world. And the whole thing is told from the beast's perspective, so they call the humans creatures. It's like the creatures caged him, and then he like says, "Follow me, and I'll take you back to my place," because they don't believe in his city of gold. And then he like disappears, and the people just get lost. It's a fun song. Music video's a trip though. And then Los Endos. Los Endos is this crazy instrumental where Phil Collins goes ham on the drums, and it kind of repeats musical ideas from this album, the rest of the album. So yeah, this album is top notch. I love this album. Didn't realize this album was this high for me. Missed out on his list. Yeah. It's hard to explain why, but this is just like one of my favorite albums. All right. Number 4. Boston. This is another just perfect album. Man, this is... When I discovered this album in 2019, I would listen to this album sometimes twice a day. I thought it was that good. I was a freshman in college whenever I first listened to this album. And I remember there was a day when I went on a record hunt to find this. Because I was like, I'm not going to stop till I can find a copy of this album. Found it at I think like a half-price bookstore. That's something we have in Texas for, how much? I think it was $8. I think I got this for $8. Man, that was a steal. Most of his songs are basically one dude in his basement. Like the guitar player, Tom Schultz. Like there's some other guys. The singer is different. The drummer is different. But all the other instruments on here, the bass, the keyboards, and all the guitars, all the different kinds of guitars are Tom Schultz. And I think that's just amazing how one guy masterminded this album. More Than a Feeling. That's one of the best songs of all time. Another song with a fade in. I love the guitar bow, 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 and the chorus. It's more than a feeling when I hear that old song they used to play, and I begin dreaming till I see Marianne walk away. And I love the acoustic guitar at the beginning. That bow, down, bow, down, 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 down. I woke up this morning and the sun was gone. I turned on some music to start my day. I lost myself in a familiar song. I closed my eyes and I slipped away. I love that. I love the guitar. The guitar solo is very classically inspired. It's like lots of little trills in there. And I love the part where it's like, when I'm tired, I think I'm cold. I hide in my music and forget the day. Dream of a girl I used to know. I closed my eyes and she slipped away. And the guitar's like, she slipped away. I can't even sing that high. You got to listen to him sing it. It's so high I can't even sing it in my falsetto voice there. Peace of Mind. Another fantastic song. I love how they play around with the acoustic and the electric guitar. It starts with the acoustic guitar and then does the electric later on. It's like boom, boom, down, 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 and then the electric guitar comes in. And then great vocals here. I love the chorus. I understand about indecision. I don't care if I get behind people living in consultation, or whatever that word is. All I want is to have my peace of mind. Take a look ahead. And then more kind of classically inspired guitars. It's like a dual guitar solo on here. I love the part where it's like, look ahead. That part is so cool. Long Time. Man, that song is epic. I love the organ at the beginning. It's like, and then it goes like, and then the drums come in, and then the guitar comes in, and then it kind of goes into like this. It's been such a long time. I think I should be going. Yeah, it's like a completely different switch up there. Crazy guitar on this song. It's fantastic. Rock and Roll Band, another great song. The guitar riff at the beginning. And I love how kind of, I mean, the whole story is fake, but I love it how it's fake self-referential. It's like, we were just another band out of Boston, on the road and trying to make ends meet. Playing on the bars, sleeping in our cars, and we practiced running out in the street. Though we didn't have much money, we barely made enough to survive. We got up on stage and got ready to play. People came alive. Oh, so good. Great drumming on that one. Smoking. Man, that song is smoking. The guitar fall. Smoking. So good. And the organ solo. Oh my gosh, the organ solo is insane on this song. Hitch a Ride. That's the most underrated song on the album. I love Hitch a Ride. Man. I like the acoustic at the beginning. It's like doom 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 doom. Kind of talking about New York City, and then the outro. Oh, the outro. It's got this really cool dual guitar solo. It's just like one of the coolest things ever. Something About You, another fantastic song. I love the guitars on that. The guitar minis, you would say. And I love the part where he's like, I got to have you. Or whatever that guitar thing is. The guitar riff, really great. Let Me Take You Home Tonight is my least favorite song on the album, but it's still top notch. It sounds different because it's the only song written by the lead vocalist, and because it's the only song that was not recorded in the guitar player's basement. So yeah, there's that. All right, Boston. Number 4. We got 3 albums left. And this is number 91 on Jason's list. Yeah, More Than a Feeling is a great song. Okay, number 3. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. The album that got me into albums. First record I ever got. Of course, that copy is hanging up in my living room. This is my second copy I bought of it. This one's from England. But what else can I say about this album that hadn't been said already? So much has been said about this album. This album is such a game changer when it came out. It's been held as the greatest album of all time. Definitely the most important album of all time. Production masterpiece. George Martin and John Lennon and Paul McCartney just... I don't even know what they were doing here. Like, experimenting is what they were doing. If you want to hear my full thoughts on this album, go check out my review on Jacob Martin's channel. The review that the Music Junkies and I did of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Just a masterpiece of an album, really. The songs are just so good. Lots of great experimentation. The title track rocks. It was 20 years ago today. Sgt. Pepper taught the band to play. A Little Help from My Friends is one of Ringo's best songs. Love that one. I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Man, that song is trippy, but it's fantastic. Picture yourself on a boat on a river with tangerine trees and marmalade skies. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Da, 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 da. Love it. Getting Better. Bam, 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 bam. I love how they do that chord. It's getting better all the time. Fixing a Hole, really cool psychedelic song. I like the kind of Baroque feel of it. I love the guitar solo too. She's Leaving Home. That's the most underrated song on this album. I love She's Leaving Home. That song is a masterpiece. It's kind of like the follow-up to Eleanor Rigby. It's just Paul and John singing and an orchestra behind them. Oh, beautiful song. Beautiful song. If you've never heard She's Leaving Home, go listen to that. That song is amazing. Actually, listen to the whole album, but especially She's Leaving Home. The Benefit of Mr. Kite is this trippy circus song. I love it. I love the sound effects at the end. Within You Without You is George Harrison's Indian sounding song. That one's great. When I'm 64, I will defend When I'm 64. I love When I'm 64. It's great. I love the kind of big band, old time feel of it. Lovely Rita. I used to hate that song, but I love it now. It's great. Kind of a funny song about Paul McCartney getting a crush on a meter maid, which is a kind of a funny story there. Good Morning, Good Morning. Yeah, that one is kind of annoying, but I love the saxophones on there. I actually like that song. The Sgt. Pepper's Reprise, the more kind of up-tempo version of it. And then A Day in the Life. Man, I don't even know what to say about A Day in the Life. That's just like one of the best things ever put to tape. Kind of contrasting John Lennon's more downbeat lyrics about kind of ho-hum, I'm reading the news, everyday life, to Paul McCartney's woke up, found a bed, you had to come across me. It kind of like, I guess, duality there. And I love the orchestra at the end, where it's this mass chaos, and then it goes back. Number 3, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I have a guess at what your top 3 is. Okay, what do you think my top 3 is? It's number 90 on his list. Guessing it would be number 1. Definitely like it the best. Yeah. Well, I guess it might be because of the personal meaning of it, but yeah, Sgt. Pepper's is, man, it's great. Okay. Number 2 was my number 1 for the longest time, but it switched. Number 2 is Abbey Road by the Beatles. And we're going to review this album on Jacob Martin's channel, so I'm not going to give my full thoughts on it. I'm going to make it brief. But this album is top-notch. Every song on here is great, and I love the medley on the B-side. I love Come Together. I love the bass line that Paul McCartney does. Boo, 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 boo. Something is my favorite Beatles song. Beautiful song, beautiful ballad from George Harrison. One of the best guitar solos ever. It's just a beautiful song. Maxwell's Silver Hammer is so goofy, and I love it. Oh Darling has one of Paul McCartney's best vocal performances. That's a great song. Octopus's Garden, great Ringo Starr song. I Want You, She's So Heavy. Well, it's right there in the title. It's a heavy song. Here Comes the Sun. Man, George Harrison was really on the top of his game whenever he did this album. Here Comes the Sun is on here as well. I've always loved the acoustic guitar on there. I love the middle section where the synthesizer comes in. Because that's a really great song. And then the medley. Man, that's... What do I even say about the medley? That's just one of the best things ever. I'm going to save my full thoughts for the video on Jacob Martin's channel, but just one of the best things put to tape. You Never Give Me Your Money, Sun King, Me, Mr. Mustard, Polythene Pam, and She Came In Through the Bathroom Window. All just fun songs. And then you get to Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight in the end, which is just like the grand finale of the whole thing. Love this album so much. It was my favorite album of all time for a very long time, but now it's not. Something took its place. I thought it was time to move on when I listened to Abbey Road last time. I thought, this is great, but I feel like there's something I like more, and I found out what it was. I just feel like the thing is, the Beatles are my favorite band of all time, but I feel like there is better musicianship elsewhere. Meaning that while the Beatles are the best band in my opinion, I feel like there are other bands who can play their instruments better than the Beatles. Which is, you might be thinking, huh? What does that mean? I don't know exactly how to explain it, but like, while the Beatles aren't exactly like the biggest master of their instruments, it's like they probably have the best ear for how a good song should be written. My number 1 album of all time is an album by a band that I think is probably the most musically proficient band ever. Because all of the members of this band are just an absolute master of their instruments. And that's why. Let's see, Jason has another. It was number 83 on his list. Something Come Together and Here Comes the Sun are so good. Yes. Okay. Anyway, number 1. My new favorite album of all time. Yes. Tornado. These guys are just a master of their instruments. I mean, we already talked about Relayer earlier, but this album gets way too much hate. This album is really where you really hear just their instruments and their... How do I explain it? Like, these guys are masters of their instruments. They're taking the crazy sounds of Relayer and Close to the Edge, and they're making them more accessible. Kind of like Permanent Waves by Rush. I mean, with songs like Don't Kill the Whale and Madrigal and Release, like, okay, I can't do it anymore. That's a joke. This album should be nowhere near my top 100. It's a joke. I do feel like Yes is a great band musically, but number one is not Tornado by Yes. Just kidding. Okay. Now time for my actual number one favorite album of all time. My actual number one favorite album of all time. I remember when I was working at a Chick-fil-A on my college campus and somebody says, "Hey, you ever listen to Rush?" And I was like, "Who's Rush?" And he said, "Well, you're a music major. You should know who Rush is." So I went out and I listened to part of this album, and I was like, it's pretty good. The guy's voice is a little annoying, but the musicianship's pretty good. But whenever I came back to this album later on, I realized this is just some of the best musicianship ever. There's the back. Every song on this album is a musical masterpiece. Rush's earlier albums, the songs may have been a bit longer and more, like, technically, I'm guessing, complex. But they took all of the great musicianship from that, shortened the songs to make them more accessible to other audiences, and bam, you got this. Geddy Lee's also starting to play around with the synthesizer, which really works for Rush's sound as well. Geddy Lee, one of the best bass players of all time. The bass is so good. His keyboard playing is great as well. Neil Peart, a lot of people say the greatest drummer of all time. Man, just absolute monster on the kit. And Alex Lifeson, one of the most underrated guitar players ever. Those three, when they get together, man, what a masterpiece of an album this is. You start out with Tom Sawyer, which is their signature song and the greatest air drumming song of all time. Just starts out with that. A modern day warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride. Ba-dow, ba-dow, ba-dow. And then I love the part where it goes. And then it goes into the guitar solo, and while Geddy Lee is playing that on the bass, Alex Lifeson is just going crazy on the guitar, and it's in 7, which is even crazier. Oh man, I can see why that's their most popular song. And they got Red Barchetta. Man, that song is great, telling the story about where motor cars are illegal. But yet this guy is going to take his grandfather, no, it's his uncle, sorry. It's his uncle's motor car out for a spin, and his chase with the police, and eventually gets back to the farm away from the police. But just the storytelling, the guitar playing, oh, so good. YYZ, the most mind-bending instrumental ever made. It's wow. It just starts with that boom, and then the percussion, which apparently spells out YYZ in Morse code. That's super cool. And then it goes to the and then while Alex Lifeson does his guitar solo, there's like this sound of sounds like somebody threw a piece of glass on the ground and glass is shattering. Super cool. Limelight, man, that's a great song. I love the riff. Neil Peart wrote the lyrics about kind of how being in the limelight with him being more of an introvert is kind of difficult. That's one of my favorite Rush songs. Camera Eye rocks. It's got some ambient sounds at the beginning, great synthesizer, but then whenever it finally kicks in, it's like, whoa, this song is epic. I love the Kind of contrasting New York City with London and the different kinds of people that live in those two big cities. And I love the part where they go, the focus is sharp in the city. Boom. And then you got Witch Hunt. Man, that's kind of a creepy song, but it rocks. I love the guitars. The night is black without a moon. The air is thick and still. And then Vital Signs. Oh, that's an underrated song right there. That song is epic. It's like Rush reggae. I love that. Everybody got mixed feelings about the function and the form. Everybody got to deviate from the norm. Boom, do. Yeah, the synthesizer, man. And then there's like a bass solo with it's like oh, I love it. This is great stuff. I love this album so much. Okay. Well, you're probably thinking, that's great and all, but let me hear your full top 100 albums list, because we want it all together. Okay, for those of you who would like to hear the full list, here it is. 100, In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson. 99, Brain Salad Surgery by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. 98, Born in the USA by Springsteen. 97, the Yes Album by Yes. 96, Toto 4 by Toto. 95, Fleetwood Mac, Self-Titled by Fleetwood Mac. 94, Glass Houses by Billy Joel. 93, Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits. 92, Minute by Minute by the Doobie Brothers. 91, Scary Monsters by David Bowie. Number 90, Genesis by Genesis. Number 89, Let's Dance by David Bowie. 88, Low by David Bowie. Too many albums on the list. 87, Band on the Run by Paul McCartney. 86, Queen 2 by Queen. 85, Highway 61 Revisited by Bob Dylan. 84, Beggar's Banquet by the Rolling Stones. 83, Aladdin Sane by David Bowie. 82, Eye in the Sky by the Alan Parsons Project. 81, Crime of the Century by Supertramp. 80, Bad Out of Hell by Meatloaf. 79, Ghost in the Machine by The Police. 78, No Jacket Required by Phil Collins. 77, So by Peter Gabriel. 76, Abacab by Genesis. 75, Hemispheres by Rush. 74, 52nd Street by Billy Joel. 73, Still Crazy After All These Years by Paul Simon. 72, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. 71, Who Are You by The Who. 70, Fragile by Yes. 69, Born to Run by Springsteen. 68, Green River by CCR. 67, Odyssey and Oracle by the Zombies. 66, Aftermath by the Rolling Stones. 65, Let It Be by the Beatles. 64, Nursery Crime by Genesis. 63, What Is the Story? Morning Glory by Oasis. 62, Face the Music by the Electric Light Orchestra. 61, Can't Buy a Thrill by Steely Dan. 60, The Game by Queen. 59, A Farewell to Kings by Rush. 58, Magical Mystery Tour by the Beatles. 57, Led Zeppelin 3 by Led Zeppelin. 56, Jazz by Queen. 55, 2112 by Rush. 54, Heroes by David Bowie. 53, Songs on the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. 52, The Royal Scam by Steely Dan. 51, Signals by Rush. 50, Foreigner by Foreigner. 49, Foreigner 4 by Foreigner. 48, Selling England by the Pound by Genesis. 47, Hunky Dory by David Bowie. 46, Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. 45, Invisible Touch by Genesis. 44, Songs from the Big Chair by Tears for Fears. 43, News of the World by Queen. 42, Who Sell Out by The Who. 41, Permanent Waves by Rush. 40, Close to the Edge by Yes. 39, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway by Genesis. 38, New World Record by ELO. 37, Day at the Races by Queen. 36, Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie. 35, Duke by Genesis. 34, Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. 33, Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones. 32, Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel. 31, Relayer by Yes. 30, Cosmos Factory by Creedence Clearwater Revival. 29, Tommy by The Who. 28, Deja Vu by Creedence Clearwater. No. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. 27, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. 26, Hotel California by the Eagles. 25, Synchronicity by the Police. 24, Led Zeppelin 4 by Led Zeppelin. 23, The Cars self-titled album. 22, The Stranger by Billy Joel. 21, Breakfast in America by Supertramp. 20, Elton John self-titled. 19, Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones. 18, Asia by Steely Dan. 17, Thriller by Michael Jackson. 16, Rubber Soul by the Beatles. 15, Escape by Journey. 14, The Wall by Pink Floyd. 13, Revolver by the Beatles. 12, Station to Station by David Bowie. 11, The White Album by the Beatles. 10, Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin. 9, Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. 8, Who's Next by The Who. 7, Out of the Blue by ELO. 6, A Night at the Opera by Queen. 5, Trick of the Tail by Genesis. 4, Boston self-titled. 3, Sgt. Pepper by the Beatles. 2, Abbey Road by the Beatles. And number 1, Moving Pictures by Rush. Okay, I was so confused. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, surprised to beat out the 2. That's just what it is right now. There's always a chance that the Beatles will get number 1 again, but for this list, it's Rush. 6 of the top 10 albums made Jason's list. 2 of them are also in your top 10 albums. One of them wouldn't happen to be by the Beatles, would it? Oh, wait. No, wait. Probably Pet Sounds. Maybe Pet Sounds and Who's Next, maybe. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching this series. It was very fun to make. I'm the first one done. Woo! Nick and Jason are still making their lists. I finished my series first. I don't know if I get a prize or something for that. But in all seriousness, go watch Jason the Old Millennial and Townsend 505's Top 100 Favorite Album series as well. Subscribe to them. And catch me tonight on the Rolling Stones. We're going to be doing a review of Black and Blue by the Rolling Stones tonight. You're not going to want to miss out on that, even though it's kind of an all-right album. I think it'll be fun to review. Remember that music is art and art is expression. See you guys next time.